Welcome to Lovin' the Love Boat, a fond and funny look back on the world's greatest cruise ship-based television show. I'm Istvan, singer, songwriter, and TV fanatic.
And I'm Michelle, pop culture enthusiast.
Join us as we relive episodes of one of the most watched TV series of all time.
Occasionally deviating to pop culture charts unknown.
So come aboard, we're expecting you for another edition of
Lovin' the Love Boat.
Hey, I'm not home right now. Leave a message.
Welcome, you guys. Yes, you heard right. That was the voice and the drunk ramblings of Mr. Baby Cakes himself, the composer of our brand new theme.
Yay.
Mr. Stephen P. Slipka, welcome.
Hey, Happy New Year.
Happy 2023, everyone.
Yeah, and we are glad that you guys are here with us. We're glad that he is here with us today.
For this two-parter, yes.
Glad to be anywhere.
Yeah, so Happy New Year, you guys. We're off to season 2.
Crazy.
Yeah, and we have been talking about this episode for quite some time, this dual episode. And guys, like I always ask, I'll ask Michelle first. What did you make of this part 1? Liked it, didn't like it, indifferent?
Well, considering how season 1 ended, a little lackluster.
Yes,
it's
for
like
sure.
they just went off the rails with this next one because it was crazy.
I feel like most TV in the 70s is fueled by cocaine. This wasn't. This was fueled by, I don't even know what. It's just a totally different beast.
Yeah, it's certainly wild. I think they were really, like we were saying, I think they were holding back a bit for this episode. Just went completely nuts.
It's a little bit Fantasy Island, a little bit Gilligan's Island.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It's
good
kinda
call.
like...
Well, the thing I was surprised about
Yeah.
is just that I thought that this was going to be one big thing. Like in one of the previous episodes, it was like somebody had compiled everything into one. So let me just really quickly, before we get into it, let me read the 3 storylines. I was surprised that there were actually 3 storylines. So today we have Marooned by Michael Norrell, very familiar name. We have The Search, written by Lee Aronson. We have Isaac's Holiday, written by Ben Jolson and Art Bear, the powerhouse writing team. Now, we have tons of stars, you guys. Let's all just try to hit it. Let's hit who's on the show.
Did you see Paul Stanley was the director?
Yeah, I did see that. You know what? Actually, when I was watching
I know
it...
it's not the Paul Stanley, but it would make sense considering how crazy it is.
Yeah, I did notice that towards the end. No, but who are our stars?
Well, right out the gate, going in alphabetical order, we had Edie Adams.
That's who my first guess was.
Whoa.
Did you say you had something to add about Edie Adams or no?
I got a lot of problems with Edie Adams in this episode, but we're going to get
Oh,
into
her
it.
character?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna hold on to that until later.
She endured Ernie Kovacs until his death. And
That
was
is true.
married to him.
That is true.
Oh, God.
Creative
this is
genius, though.
old-timey experts. I don't know what
Can
you're
we
talking
spend
about.
a couple of
They were
hours
married.
on the stylings of Ernie Kovacs?
They were married.
Wait, let me ask you guys a question, seriously. Don't attack me. I super
Ask me anything about Ernie Kovacs.
Super familiar with the name Ernie Kovacs.
Yeah.
Who was Ernie Kovacs?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Don't you remember? He was like a... Well, you go. But the thing that I remember the
I
most
don't know.
was...
Does Percy Dove Tonsils
Yeah.
maybe jog your memory?
No.
No?
Or
How about the Nairobi Trio? Does that
That's
jog
what
your
I
memory?
was just going to bring up.
No.
That's what I remember as a kid. It was the gorillas with the hats and the cigars.
Was he a musician? Was he an actor?
Comedian.
Comedian?
Oh man, he's the best.
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Ernie Kovacs. I'm sure I know him if I saw him, but I don't know who he
I
is.
am a little surprised that you of all people that you're not familiar.
Look, Ernie Kovacs was... I feel like this is a recurring theme with me. Think of a very young Stephen P. Slipka sitting in the living room by himself, watching black and white Ernie Kovacs,
Right.
the most surreal, bizarre, not funny,
No.
Guys,
but
hang on, hang
super
on.
strange
Guys,
television show of all time.
Slipka is 5 years younger than we are. And he's telling me about Ernie Kovacs.
The thing about growing up in the Great Depression was...
All right, guys,
Right.
this is not an Ernie Kovacs podcast. Let's
It
please
should be.
move on, because we have superstar John Astin.
Yes.
Obviously,
The best.
yeah, like Gomez Adams.
Stepfather of Sean Astin.
He is playing David P. Was it P. Carruthers?
Husband of...
Patty Duke.
Patty Duke. Okay, not another tangent, but they do a dual guest starring role on Circle of Fear that was hosted by Sebastian Cabot. Mwah. It is so good. He is amazing in it. I think it's his best guest starring role.
Evie and I have seen them on Buzzer Channel, has those old game shows, and they did a lot of couples work on couples.
He
type
might have been
game
on
shows.
Celebrity Bowling, but I can't.
Oh, God, I would love to see that.
That's a whole other podcast.
All right, guys, come on. We're going to be here forever. We also have my dream girl, Barbi
leave this
Benton.
to you.
Do you like Barbi Benton? Do you find Sam? I'm always curious.
I
who
find
you would.
in real life, I find Barbi Benton delightful.
Great. All right, she's playing somebody named Kiki. That's the only name I got of her.
Kiki Atwood.
Is that it? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we have David Birney.
You know.
The only man who could tame the wilds of Meredith Baxter Birney. And he had a lot of panache and a lot of charm, and I could see why she fell for him, because he was handsome.
He was handsome.
And he was very smooth and caring to Donna Mills, who was also on this episode.
He plays Mike Adler, who also is known as Brad Sanders. That's how you check into hotel rooms, right? As Brad Sanders from his fake soap opera called All My Lovers. We also have Norm Crosby. Michelle, do you have anything to add? You love the Jerry Lewis telethon. He was always on the telethon.
one of my favorites on the Jerry Lewis telethon.
He was always awesome.
And that's how I knew of him as a kid, pretty much, because he was always doing some weird stand-up. He usually would take the late slot, like 3 in the morning, and then Norm Crosby. And
he was like a story comic, wasn't he? Like he'd take a long time to get
Yeah.
He would mess up his words. He would make things up all the time. That was his sort of gimmick too. Well, he's playing Wally, the stand-in
with the
bartender.
cool, dyed hair.
Yeah, real cool.
No,
Super
that wasn't
cool.
dyed. That was real.
Or we also have Laraine Day. She plays
David's mom.
in this first episode. We really don't. She hasn't spoken a word on this episode.
Correct.
We also have Stephen P. Lola Falana.
Lola Falana.
I learned that she was dubbed the First Lady of Vegas because she was the highest paid entertainer in Vegas in 1979.
Oh, wow.
So right around the time this was happening.
She's got a lot of personality. She's very good. I like seeing her on the show. She's playing Mara Carroll. Then we also have Mrs. Roper.
Yeah, you want to talk about personality.
Audra Lindley. She is on the show. She's playing Mrs. Worth. I don't know that they ever said her first name, or Miss Worth.
They haven't.
Okay, then we also have Dick Martin.
Rowan and Martin laughing.
Yes, he is playing Deputy Captain Cunningham. We have Donna Mills.
Knots Landing.
I'll take your word for it. And she's playing Ginny Carter.
That's how I know her.
She's great on here. I like Donna Mills. I never watched Donna
Now
Mills.
this is a reoccurring guest, right?
Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, saving the best for last.
Totally.
Again, the things that kind of made us who we are as children, the types of people that we were exposed to, these sort of walking cartoon character human beings that I value very, very much, Mr. Avery Schriber. He plays Everett Buell.
Did you ever see the movie Scavenger Hunt?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of my favorites because he's the zookeeper in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, he's awesome.
He's the best.
Now, did you
really is.
relate to this character on this episode, Stephen P?
I relate to Avery Schriber in a lot of ways, actually. But as well in this episode, because, I like to think of myself as, inordinately positive and an optimist and just, kindness. And that's really what I saw in Avery Schriber.
He was. So far, he's been trying to be
He put up with
his...
a lot.
He's great. He's also,
brain
remember the
wife.
Muppet? We like to watch the old Muppet Show, too, and he's on one of those. He's
And
the
of course,
guest on one of those.
Doritos commercials.
Oh, my God, that's right. The Dorito. That was huge, those commercials.
People who like cheese will love nacho cheese Doritos. They taste as good as they crunch. Now Doritos brand tortilla chips have the great taste of cheese. Nacho cheese flavored Doritos.
All right, so let's get into it, you guys. With this two-parter, I was, again, really surprised that they weren't just completely smack dab with the whole maroon thing, that they really took time to have all these other storylines happening. And one of the weird things that takes place right from the beginning is Gopher acting completely out of his mind and annoying Julie to no end.
Hey, where's Gopher?
The way he's been acting lately, who cares?
Oh, come on, Julie. Just because he put a dead chicken in with your nylon.
Oh, and you weren't sore when he short cheated your bid.
No, I was with a short girl. Gopher's just overdue for his vacation. He's a little stir-crazy.
A little? Well, maybe by now he's got it out of his system.
Gopher is acting weird. He's just acting strange the whole time.
Yeah.
He's excited because he's got vacation coming
But
up.
it seems like he's on something.
Yeah, he seems off.
Yeah, it seems really strange. Like the way he was behaving on this episode was kind of odd.
And then didn't you notice, I noticed that Doc was a little more animated on this episode so far. I kind of enjoyed him more as a character.
I think there were a lot of contract disputes during this episode.
Could be.
Maybe.
Like something was up because Gopher was just bizarre. Adam Ricker is being his usual creepy self right off the bat.
Oh, that's a given.
Because I don't think you can really blame him because the beautiful Barbi Benton enters the ship.
Welcome aboard the Princess. Enjoy your cruise. I hope so. Just leave us there, Douglas.
Oh, yes. Hi. I'm Adam Ricker, your most ardent admirer.
All right, let's hear your scintillating line. You'd like to buy me a drink, then drop down to my cabin for a chaser because you're sure you know me from somewhere. Am I warm?
Not as warm as I am. Will I see you later?
Not if I see you first. Have one to help take care of these right away. That's a real winner.
Oh, Miss Lockwood really is a nice girl. She just has a few problems.
I wouldn't have guessed.
She was engaged to a young man. They were to be married several weeks ago. He broke the engagement the day before the wedding. Ah. I'll have a little chat with her. Straighten her out about that. Okay. But do yourself a favor. When you have that little chat, wear a suit of armor.
Yeah, and he is summarily shut down right off the bat.
But I'm sorry, is Barbi Benton though? Is she a celebrity on this, or is she just a regular person? I couldn't understand.
She's a regular
from the
person.
But she had like a.
She's a wealthy woman. But
Yeah.
her fiance dumped her right before the wedding, so she's bitter.
Okay, but I thought that, she was how Michelle Lee came on as some sort of famous person.
It was just like later when she's at the dining room table with Isaac, she's kind of agreeing with some of the things he's saying.
The Concorde, I've been on the Concorde and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
she's wealthy.
Wealthy. Okay.
Yeah.
Right,
She's got a princess vibe going on.
Well, all of it's confusing because
where
also
nothing's good.
The Lola Falana character, they don't really establish, but she's I'm in TV. She says she's in television, but they don't say that she's an
That's
actress.
enough.
The other dude
That's enough.
The other dude is a soap opera star. It's what's going on?
It's a lot of celebrities.
All right, but then you get some level of some sort of terrible, terrible feeling as Maureen Buell comes on abusing her husband left and right.
Yep.
Hurry it up, Romeo.
I'm trying, Fluffums. These darn bags are heavy.
Hello, welcome aboard the Princess. I'm Julie McCoy, your cruise director. Maureen Buell. Stephanie knock you out? Couldn't you die for a man who can actually bench press a house cat?
I'm Everett Buell.
Hello, how do you do?
Yeah, Maureen was just joking.
Everett, the last time I made a joke was when I said I do at our wedding.
Don't you just love her sense of humor?
So, surprise guest off the runway, the causeway, what is it called? I don't know. The concourse.
There you go.
Comes surprise guest Isaac.
As a guest.
On vacation on the boat he works on.
Well, why, Michelle?
There's no snow for skiing.
He was supposed to go skiing.
There's not any other place he could possibly have gone on vacation. Even they make the joke, why are you coming on the ship for vacation?
This makes no sense.
Shut up. That was artful. I thought that was great, the way that they worked that out. He was going to go somewhere else.
You're supposed to be on vacation.
What happened to the ski trip?
No snow. So I thought I'd take a luxurious cruise instead.
Oh, nurse, one more over the cuckoo's nest.
It's right here on the passenger list, Mr. I. Washington, Promenade 350. Welcome aboard, Isaac.
Let's make that Mr. Washington.
Okay.
Mr. Washington, you forgot your bag.
Who forgot? Let's bring it along, kid.
And I give him credit that now he's going to be on the boat as a passenger and not as the bartender. Oh, I think, you know what? Side note, let me see my notes. I think this is the first time you see the Pirates Cove.
Oh, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah. They got a lot of use out of that
I'm
set.
jumping around, but did you see your guy was there too again?
Who?
The stranger at the bar?
No, why am I missing this guy?
He was at, I think it was when Donna Mills and Birney were eating, and then they pan away, and he was sitting at the table by himself eating. He is obviously an extra that they use quite regularly.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe he's one of the writers. What if he was Michael Norrell or something like that? Well, as soon as everybody's on board and we kind of are introduced to everybody, right away, Julie's a little bit starstruck because, like I was saying, the David Birney character of Mike Adler, who also plays Brad Sanders on TV, she recognizes him from the soap opera.
Say, I know you, don't I? Yes, of course. You're the guy guy murdered his wife.
Guilty. I'm surprised you recognize me. You don't really look like the soap opera type.
Oh, I've been a fan of yours for a long time.
Oh, thank you.
Imagine the star of All My Loves here. I'm Julie McCoy.
Mike Adler. Pleased to meet you.
I hate your guts.
Thanks, I needed that.
You ruined your father's business, murdered your brother, married his wife, and then murdered your wife.
Well, that's entertainment.
Okay, so first thing, before we get into Isaac, I just want to call out fantastic B-roll once again on this episode. So I don't know if you guys noticed that, but the disembarking B-roll, fantastic. I want a super cut of Steubing just looking like a captain disembarking.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I
It
always
is
talk
so
about that
great.
one. You put a picture of it, didn't you, on the
I
last?
didn't. I have an actual your sister's favorite, shout out to Kristen, boomerang of Captain Merrill talking on the walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
But I haven't posted it
There's
yet.
a lot of walkie usage in this episode. He is large and in charge and looking fantastic. And so I just wanted to shout out.
It's some
shout
of our
out to the
favorite. It's
B-roll.
some of our favorite stuff.
It is my favorite, one
Yeah,
of my
it's
favorite
great.
ones.
It's great. But then, Isaac he's here to have fun.
He is. Well, Isaac sees Lola. She's impossible to resist. And he, after he grabs, I think, his Harvey Wallbanger. Or
Nope.
What was it?
Tequila Sunrise.
Is that what he got?
Because
Well-
he's already criticizing Norm Crosby.
Wally? Yeah, he did. He slammed him for his subpar.
This is how you make a Tequila Sunrise. Already giving him total crap for the Tequila Sunrise.
Yes. And then he heads over to, make a play for Miss Falana.
And furthermore, lucky lady, of all the women on this ship, I have just chosen you to be my dinner companion for the first night.
How about the last night of my life?
Is that a no?
If it isn't, it's a good hint that one is coming.
While Isaac is playing on Lola Falana unsuccessfully, we go back to the bar where Donna Mills is talking to...
No, she's just forlorn at first. She's staring into... I took a photo of this where she's just staring off into the distance. But she has good reason to feel that way, right?
Right, we find out she's an orphan. And she's hired a detective to look for her mother, her birth mother.
Sometimes it helps to talk to someone.
You're a perfect stranger.
I have to be honest, I'm not perfect.
You're right. I mean, about talking to someone. You mentioned your mother before. Well, I grew up in an orphanage and a couple of foster homes. I never knew my mother.
I'm sorry.
So I hired a detective agency and I had her tracked down. She's on the ship.
Are you serious? Have you seen her?
No, not yet. I went to her cabin, but I chickened out at the last minute. I mean, all my life I have dreamed about finding my mother. What she'd say to me when I found her, how she didn't want to give me up, how she wanted to keep me, how she really loved me. That's the dream. The nightmare is that she slams the door in my face.
Well, it is a little odd that she just spews all that to him on their first meeting.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good opener. Hi, celebrity movie star. Have I mentioned that I'm an orphan and I'm looking for my mother on this boat? Would you like a Tequila Sunrise?
Isn't it odd, though, too, that he's there with his mom, but they're never together?
Do we do a major spoiler alert or whatever?
Well, it's not really a spoiler when you can see it coming from 12 miles away.
You can totally see it coming.
We got a lot to unpack here.
That'll be part 2, because I'm not sure how this is all going to play out. Because what I'm thinking and then what's happening is kind of crazy.
So Donna Mills, here's the setup, people. Donna Mills is there looking for her long-lost mother. And David Birney, I forget his character's name.
Mike Adler,
is also there, with his mother. That's interesting.
Yes.
But they start to fall for each other a little bit. That's interesting. They have mothers in common. Do they?
Oh, my God.
Let's find out.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. How is this going to play out?
I don't know. It's
I just
gonna
kept
be weird.
wincing every time they started making out with each other. It's like, oh no, Oh, that's so weird.
To tell you the truth, given the episodes you've had me on this show to cover, I fully expected that would be their mother. And the episode would just end like that.
Maybe. We'll have to wait for part 2.
We're going to find out because we have not even met the mom yet. She's having the time of her life because she's everywhere. She's just doing what she wants.
She was in Cabo San Lucas by herself without her son.
It just blows off the sun.
Why did you even bring her along?
Now, it's taken us this long, though, you guys, which I thought would be the entire episode, to have any sense of a maroon scenario happening. So the weird thing is, like, this junior captain or whatever he is.
For a refresher
He's there for,
course.
Yeah, refresher course.
He's like 70 years old. He's doing a refresher course. And it's like...
So leave him in charge of the ship when you go on your excursion.
See, this episode has a lot of things I like all the sound effects of like the radar and all of those things. As a kid, this is what I like. And there's a major point that I would like to bring up as far as all that in this episode. He comes out, some random dude who got his SAG card because he got a speaking line, and he comes out and warns this refresher captain that there is an impending hurricane coming, and he just doesn't pay attention and blows it off.
A hurricane? Wait till the captain sees this.
Sir, I think Captain Stubing should see this report right away.
Listen, son, you do your job and I'll do mine. Dismissed.
Anything you say, sir.
Excuse me. I seem to be lost.
Well, indeed you are, unless, of course, you're looking for the radio room.
Oh, no, I was just looking for the Lido deck.
Ah, that's very simple. You take the starboard companionway to the promenade deck.
After he gets that piece of paper, he doesn't really look at it or acknowledge what's happening, and then Mrs. Roper comes.
Yeah, Mrs. Roper is lost, and so Deputy Captain Cunningham gives her directions on the hurricane warning and just gives that away. He is obviously completely incompetent and should be arrested at this point in the show, pretty much.
But as much as she pulled that piece of paper out, nobody saw that on the other side it said hurricane.
No, I like that the radio guy is just like, well, okay.
Yeah, right.
He just wanders back into the room and locks the door, waiting for the hurricane to smash into the ship.
This is where I can't enjoy any show because I start thinking about, aren't there checks and balances in place to avoid this sort of thing?
I think the Love Boat is very prophetic. It shows many people rise to positions of power who have no business being there. They really are incompetent, and they just bluster their way through everything.
Are you saying that the Love Boat is a metaphor for corporate
Yes,
America?
I am.
Is this what you're trying to say?
I absolutely am. It took us all the way to season 2 to get to that, but yes.
Interesting take. Okay.
Guys, I'm hungry.
Yeah?
Let's head to the buffet.
Well, I wouldn't go to the buffet because my notes say, why is everything gray?
Food always looks gross.
All the time, but this time it looked exceptionally disgusting.
Here's my notes. It just says, why so much tuna?
And were those potatoes she kept putting on her?
Couldn't tell. Could have been
Wild
lobster.
potatoes?
It all looked the same to me.
You would think a wealthy woman like Barbi Benton would have said, this food is disgusting and thrown it to the floor, but she's filling up her plate with all that gross gray.
Yeah. Isaac's so focused on the tequila sunrises, nobody's focused on the buffet. That's
because PJ, what's her name, left. And the food is
PJ Muldoon.
PJ Muldoon left and retired.
You know, Michelle, I got to give you big credit for pulling these old ones because she blew my mind with John Ritter last time. And PJ Muldoon, one of our favorites.
When she retired, I was assuming the food just went downhill.
It went straight downhill. You're absolutely right.
Captain Stubing's dad.
Bring back PJ Muldoon. They forced her into retirement too. She didn't want to retire. Well, at this disgusting buffet, Doc takes another swing at Kiki, and she is still a crank.
I recommend the smoked salmon, the beef Wellington, the cherries jubilee, and a walk in the moonlight with a handsome doctor.
You certainly give it the old college try.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are all the same.
I wouldn't say that. Some of us are wonderful.
All right. Cabin A276. Show up around 11, and you better be dynamite.
No, thanks. It'd probably take dynamite to move you.
But you guys, like, did you notice, like, at that, I found it a little bit weird, because, like, he tries to hit on her again. He's being as charming as Doc always is. And then she said, well, then show up to room whatever. Did she mean that?
I don't think she meant it. I think it was kind of like a trap. I think she was trying to trap him, just see like him to be like all eager and showed up. But then Doc is too cool.
He turned on her, though.
And then that was just to show that like Doc is not playing her game.
Right.
Okay, well, he did that because he just totally like turned on her like on a dime, and then he was
He's
out.
Doc. He doesn't need to work so hard.
Right. It's true.
Yeah, but then in that same scenario, there's a pretty funny part where like Isaac, after like kind of like trying to create this persona for himself to impress Lola Falana, he's seated at the captain's table, and then he acts kind of funny with Captain Merrill.
Captain Stubing, may I present your last guest tonight, Mr. Isaac Washington?
Good evening, Merrill. Don't get up.
Isaac, what are you doing here?
Vacation, Merrill.
Good to see you again, old buddy.
So while they're at the table all talking about owning the Concorde, the captain's going to take them all on this excursion to this private island.
Yeah, but did he really mean that though? Because it seemed like it was like they overheard, the old lady, Mrs. Roper, overheard and then just basically invited them, and he felt bad. Because in the one thing prior to it, it looked like he was romantically inviting Doc to go with him.
I think he was.
Would you like to accompany me? Now, I thought it was kind of weird.
Well, if you're going to take anybody, Doc's the most fun.
Yeah, it was a weird crew that ended up going off the island to
Because
this.
most of his main crew went on the...
But he also went because Deputy Captain Cunningham was doing such a good job. Which, I don't know. We're only in the beginning of season 2, and Stubing is a really poor judge of character. If you think of all of the people he's backed who have turned out to not be great.
That's true.
Right?
It's true.
The assistant cruise director.
That's true.
Right? A lot of bad judgment.
I'll cut him some slack for that one. Because maybe she was charming him, but this one is kind of strange, where he thinks this guy's doing an awesome job.
You know, Cunningham is doing an excellent job. I'd feel comfortable leaving the ship in his hands.
He seems capable enough.
Yeah. In fact, tomorrow, when we anchor off Cabo San Lucas, I think I'll let him take command of the ship and take a little excursion. It's a lovely spot. Maybe you'd like to come with me, Adam?
I'd love to.
Oh, that sounds like a lovely day.
Terrific.
Yes. Why don't we all go?
Aren't you going to join your friend, the captain, Mr. Washington?
No. I didn't come on a cruise to mingle with the help.
Well, things are going so well on the ship. Stubing's like, let's get off the ship, and I'm going to take you to my favorite island.
My special place.
Here, you random assemblage of people. Why don't you come with me to this island?
At least Lola Falana had enough sense not to get on that little boat.
Yeah. In a rowboat off a giant ship to an uninhabited island. Or is it?
Well, you know, they're on the dinghy or whatever, and then they do basically arrive at Gilligan's Island.
That's what it looked like, right?
Oh, what an exquisite lagoon. Captain, it's perfect.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Gopher!
How'd you find it, Captain?
I spent some time down this way when I was in the Navy. I was on leave and went exploring.
What you normally want to do when you're on an uninhabited, uncharted island is head right into the interior. That's usually the thing that you want to do, which is what they do. They just head right into the middle.
Well, the secret spot isn't just going to be right there. You have to do a little, what is it called when you're hacking through like the rainforest, you know?
Dying.
But I do appreciate the like classic like 1970s TV show Mysterious Footprint in the Sand.
Oh yeah.
Yet he had sandals on the whole time.
That's where it turned Fantasy Island like on a dime.
Here, this is good. You guys are completely right. The music in it also is that that Moog synthesizer that I love, making tenseness and all of that. But here's the thing, you guys. On this episode, it's easy to make fun of, but you have to think back to being kids. For me especially, this is huge. And all television was just a launching pad for us to then pretend. So this episode being as kind of goofy as it is, right? All of this was where I would have been 100% watching. And we would have pretended to be on an island. We would have pretended to be marooned.
I still am.
But that's what I'm saying. It's uncharacteristic for the Love Boat, but not uncharacteristic for 70s and 80s, early 80s television, because it would have been even greater if like maybe Gopher fell into some quicksand. But that did not happen.
It does.
Or at least it hasn't yet.
This is another one of those tropes where it's some like a marooned, what is it, hermit, who then holds you by gunpoint and is basically threatening your life. How many times on how many shows were there old ghost town where a prospector, like a prospector who's still there, takes you all because
Brady
you're about
Bunch,
to... Yes.
Charlie's Angels,
Yes.
the list goes on.
One old guy can take on like 7 people. They're like,
I wrote that down.
On that
I wrote that
island.
down.
They couldn't take on his homemade gun.
Yeah, I wrote down Charles Manson holds entire group at bay with a flintlock is what I wrote down. So.
It's John Astin as the hermit.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Kathy, this island of yours is cleansing to the soul. Yeah, but it's murder on the hairdo.
This was a great day. Thanks a lot for bringing us here, Captain.
Oh, no. The launch is gone.
Oh, what did that? A shark?
A knife.
A shark with a knife?
Some madman cut this rope.
I don't see it anywhere, sir.
Well, what are we going to do?
I don't know. But whatever it is, we're going to do it here.
Look, there he is again. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Anyone remember the last line?
The best part, though, is when they're in that weird, cabin that he made out of like palm fronds, and Captain Stubing's like just pushing on things.
Break out of it.
The windows are as big as anybody could fit through it, yet they cannot figure out how to get out.
You can see through the side of the wall, yet none of them can figure out how to get out.
So frustrating.
I love it so much because it's exactly what I would have liked as a kid. Because you didn't want it to be so hard that you couldn't pretend to do it yourself. It's fantastic.
I'm pretty sure Captain could have ran right through this wall.
It's just a testament
Like
to his awesome acting because he's, how can I get out? And he's totally selling this ridiculous
and
thing.
he just
I love
put
it.
like one piece of wood in front of the door, and then they can't get out.
I like when Bernie Coppell, he's looking at the rope that has been split, but his one leg's up, like it's on a monitor on stage, and it's like he's in his action stance. It's so great.
Did you see him trip when they got off the boat?
No.
He tripped over the rope.
No, I didn't.
So Gavin McLeod acts up a storm.
Oh,
at this
he
point.
does.
I don't know if
love
you
it.
guys noticed.
Yes.
I think this might have been the thing that got this script approved because he saw these moments,
Yes.
these monologues and these big moments where he's leaning with his elbow up on the post, talking about sacrificing 8 for the lives of 600.
Oh, don't despair, dear. A rescue party may still be sent from the ship.
I hope not. With the hurricane coming, I'm sure that Deputy Captain Cunningham had enough sense to head for open waters. Better he risks our 8 lives than the lives of 600 passengers.
Well, that's what
my
Isaac said
God.
that he would do, and
Yeah.
he was correct.
Yeah, he was correct.
It's the greatest. It is so fun to watch for me.
He thinks he's doing Hamlet.
Oh, it's so good.
It's amazing.
Gavin
it's why-
McLeod's going for that Emmy.
It's why we love him so much. He is so in this role. I love it. I love it beyond compare. It's the best. But we haven't really discussed actually really seeing John Astin. And us becoming aware of David P. Carruthers, David S. Pumpkins, what's his name?
Yeah, they're walking through the interior of the jungle, getting malaria, and they see a figure from across a lagoon or maybe some sort of distance. It kind of looks like Sasquatch /
Manson.
Charles Manson.
Mansquatch.
Charles Mansquatch.
Charles Mansquatch is
But
in
he had that cool
the fake
headband that
brush.
kept his hair out of his.
Yes, because he probably was there in the 60s, because he was there for 21 years. It's actually maybe the 50s, I don't know. But yeah, Mansquatch is there watching them intently.
Yeah.
And it just so happens to be his birthday.
Quick aside, little interstitial bit here before we get into John Astin's
Verbal
arc.
B-roll you going to throw at us?
This is a little bit of a verbal cul-de-sac. Did anybody catch how Avery Schriber's character is super into UFOs?
She mentioned it.
Yeah,
when
she
she first
mentioned
saw
I
John
was
Astin.
so hoping for a spin-off series with just Avery Schriber chasing UFOs.
That'd be kind of great.
That would have been great.
That would have been.
But no, you know why? Because Maureen shut it down.
She did. She was a drag, man.
Yeah.
I'll
She
say.
was horrible.
Always with her cigarettes.
Did she? Was she smoking?
She did. She had a cigarette.
Yeah, she did.
But it wasn't lit.
No. When they could have burned the cap. They could have burned it down if they had a lighter and a cigarette.
They could have just walked through the wall
That's
slowly.
what I'm saying. While everybody's struggling to figure out how to get out of this flimsy hut back on the ship, Lola Falana has fallen for Isaac.
She's changed her tune.
But
based on a mountain of lies.
Once they hit the Pirates Cove or the
No, it was at dinner. It was when they were at dinner that he was impressing her.
Yeah, I was thinking about when they go to the bar later and he leaves
so they have a good time after
to check
dinner
on the weather
because he owns the Concorde,
right?
And she falls for that. And
it's because much like you, he's a jet pilot.
Yep,
he's a polo player.
Check.
Race car driver.
Also yes.
And real estate developer.
Sometimes.
When you have a moment.
Yeah.
So she was dazzled by all of these self-made qualities. Well, but not too long after that, she heads back over to Wally in the Pirates Cove, right?
And that's when doesn't he leave to go check on the weather because he feels like something's up?
He's the only guy who's doing anything, really, because
Right.
everyone else is left.
So he leaves to check on the weather, and she's talking to Wally, and then...
Hey, Wally.
Hey, getting a little rough out there.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of choppy. Maybe there's a storm coming up. Listen, I better check with the radio room. I'll be right back.
Well, Miss Carroll, how about a tall, cool planter's punch?
Sounds good, but I think I'll wait for Mr. Washington.
Why? You think Isaac can make it better than I can?
Nothing he does would surprise me. The man is amazing. A jet pilot, polo player, race car driver, real estate developer.
Magician?
Magician?
Well, sure. He'd have to be to do all that on his bartender's salary.
His what?
Of course, he probably makes a lot more than I do because he's on steady. You know, I'm just taking his place while he has a week off. And then there's tips, which you never really declare 100% to internal revenue.
Liar.
Hey, everybody does it. Waiters, taxi cab drivers. When my wife had her gallbladder out, even the surgeon asked for cash.
Yeah, Wally gets revenge for the tequila sunrise. And he says, what does he say? Like
Something on a bartender's salary.
Yeah, how does he do all this on a bartender's salary? And Lola Falana was like, what?
Yeah.
He doesn't own the Concorde and is not an ace fighter pilot?
Right.
He's just like all the rest. He just needed to be himself. He's smooth, he's cute, he's nice.
Right.
Wally completely implicates himself in tax fraud when he's talking.
As a server, he's not wrong.
Hey, Wally, maybe shut your
mouth. He's not wrong.
Yeah, I know, but maybe shut up.
You know what I like about Norm Crosby as Wally? He's got nothing to lose. He's
he
just
didn't
there,
care.
and it's like, where's the camera? All right, go.
And then he knows
just
come
doesn't care.
September, it's that telethon when it's Labor Day weekend. He's got a gig.
He'll be playing Reno next week. What does he care? Just to tie this up. So Isaac, you touched on it, but Isaac, seemingly the only one on the ship concerned about a hurricane. So I'm going to go back to my previous question, which is there no one else on this ship who's maybe responsible for checking these things?
No.
So the head bartender is the person who's going to intervene with the deputy captain and say a hurricane is coming.
And telling him what the Captain Stubing would do.
Edgar? Mr. Cunningham, Captain Stubing's launch hasn't returned yet.
I know that.
Aren't you going to put out to sea? We can't let that hurricane catch us at anchor. We have 600 passengers on board. I know that Captain Stubing would want us to think of them first.
Us? Who's us? If it's any of your business, I was just about to make my decision when you came barging in here.
I'm sorry, sir. I was just trying to help. I remember in a similar situation once, Captain Stubing felt he had a better chance of outrunning the storm in the open sea. He had us underway in 5 minutes.
Well, he has his way of doing things. I have mine. Hello, Bridge. This is Deputy Captain Cunningham. Weigh anchor. We sail in 30 seconds. Oh, very well. 5 minutes.
And this is where Dick Martin, now I don't understand the motivation of his character at this point. Because he doesn't care when Isaac comes in, but then what does he do when the door closes? He starts getting super upset and scared. He's hemming and hawing about what he should do, but he doesn't do anything. He just gets upset about it. So I don't understand where he's coming from. but he doesn't do
I
anything
don't get the
else.
motivation of that character at all.
No.
Yeah, he's just incompetent and not bright. But I think he really is just in a role to help the drama.
Which is strange
take
because the
place.
writers of The Love Boat are so good usually at tying everything up in a bow that this doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, see, the thing is, they're saving all of their energy for the powerhouse acting and dialogue that's taking place inside of the hut.
He looks bored. That makes two of us.
Kiki, you add an entirely new dimension to the word boring.
You ought to know. You wrote the book.
Now, you've got to get down to the beach and light a signal fire that'll be seen by our ship.
Sir, how do you know the ship is still there? How do you know it hasn't moved on without us? And how about this man Cunningham? How well do you know him? Is he trustworthy? Did you leave the keys in the ignition? All these are questions that have to be answered.
The only question that has to be answered is when did your brains fall out?
Look, maybe we can lure him into opening the door.
Good idea. We'll use one of the ladies. Someone seductive.
Captain, would you like me to try? Sure. Fair faucet minor.
All right, everybody listen. Mr. Buell, Doc, and I will stand on either side of the door. Gopher, you will climb to the ceiling and lurk there, waiting to drop.
What a stupid plan. Pardon me, do you have another? No. Well, then why don't you do us all a favor and stop flapping your lips?
Oh, God. And they're in full earshot of Carruthers, and they're loudly plotting and planning how to get out of this thing. Again, for me in my childhood, it was absolutely flawless what was taking place.
I do appreciate, though, like, when then they go where like Julie's going to try to lure him.
Mr. Man.
Mr. Man?
Well, I don't know his name, sir.
David P. Carruthers. But you can call me Baby Cakes. By the way, the one I really think is seductive is the little old lady.
Captain Stubing, in his flawless logic and leadership, says, we'll use one of the ladies.
He pimps him out, immediately. Just
like,
pimps
that's
out the
his
women.
go-to move here. Not walk through the palm fronds that make up the wall. We'll use one of the ladies.
I appreciate, though, that they made fun of her saying Mr. Man, Captain Stubing.
He did. He did a good job.
Mr. Man.
But she was awesome, the way that she did that, though, that she sold that. Can you imagine having to do that, and she did a really good job. Because she makes it fun. She made it funny.
It's like when Bugs Bunny would dress up in drag, and then he would try to, lure somebody.
David P. Carruthers wasn't having any of it, though.
Nope.
Mr. David P. Carruthers, he likes a more mature woman.
Well, let's point out, for once on the Love Boat, age-appropriate relationship.
Oh, that is true.
Between
Usually
a
it's always
psychotic
some
hermit.
old guy and some younger woman, and at least he is attracted to somebody in
That's
his
true.
age bracket.
That's true.
Yeah, let's give it up for the hermit. I mean, he really
Not
was
Barbi
acting-
Benton.
No, he didn't even mention her at all.
No, but, I mean, she was pretty insufferable through this whole thing. So
Who,
I told-
Barbi Benton?
Barbi Benton's character, yeah.
So what you're saying is that you are not attracted to Barbi Benton. You're attracted to Mrs.
David P.
Roper.
Carruthers. No. Yes. Yes. Audra Lindley. Yeah, because she's the best. You know why? Honestly, she's optimistic in the face of adversity. She has hope. Everybody else, not helpful. So I take Audra Lindley hands down in this.
Well, she proved that really by, kicking it up to 10 and being as seductive as an older woman has ever been.
Seductive. Mr. Baby Cake. Guess what?
What?
I'm naked in here.
Really? Can the others see you?
No, they're asleep.
Really?
That's right. They're exhausted.
Isn't this fun? You see how gullible I am?
He's disappeared.
Mr. Baby Cakes, where are you?
Be peekaboo. What is the matter with you people? Don't you know you're dealing with a man with a gun? Why don't you wise up and ask me why I captured you? Why did you capture us? Because I've lived here all by myself for 21 years, and I've been happy as a clam, except for one thing. Never in my whole life have I had a surprise birthday party.
You kidnapped us so you could have a birthday party?
A surprise birthday party.
Yeah, solid plot point. He says, do you know why I kidnapped you? Because I've never had a surprise birthday party, which makes total sense.
Well, you turn insane if you're on an island for 21.
You know what I would do?
You're not even on an island for 21 years. And look what's happened.
Maybe I'd turn sane. You ever think of that?
You're blowing my mind.
Mr. Man.
Hey. Mr. Man. Hey, I can't come to the phone right now.
Mr. Baby Cakes.
I'm so gullible.
Yeah, that too. Let's just say it right out there.
I love him, man. I love John Astin. I think he's great.
He's great.
It's just like these people, some of these people, though, you just like them. You just like them no matter what. And they bring something to whatever goofy role that was thrown their way.
Because he's probably like, what? I'm going to wear a wig?
Oh, he was in. He committed.
Was all in.
Yeah, so cliffhanger, but not really, because there's no cliffhanger in this. It just sort of ends, right? This episode.
Did we? I mean, we kind of touched on it too, like back on the ship that prior to all this, that Donna Mills and what's his name, Birney, are actually kind of falling in love and they're kissing.
Yeah, so
because like thinking what you're thinking, and maybe it's going to be a switcheroo because they've done that before.
Oh, that maybe it is, because like obviously we're all saying that we think that his mother, who he never sees, is going to be this mother that is the person that gave her up for adoption, and then they're making out, and that is really strange.
That's a weird choice, writers.
But maybe they will switch it up on us. Maybe it won't be, you know? But let's see. Don't make fun. I have been tricked by the Love Boat many times.
I feel like there's more suspense in that than what's happening on the island. By far.
As far as like ending kind of blunt, Isaac, after doing this pretty heroic deed, goes to see Mara, thinking everything's great, not knowing that Wally dropped a dime on him.
Well, maybe don't talk shit about my tequila sunrise.
Right.
I won't call you out.
Exactly.
Yeah, really, total instant karma. So he goes to the room thinking like he's gonna score or something, and then she pummels him with a hailstorm of puns about being a bartender.
Yep.
And then just starts throwing crap
And a hailstorm of lamps.
Yes, there's so many lamps in the room.
Like, wow, she's got a lot of nerve to start throwing things in her hotel room.
Yeah, in a hotel room.
Cabin.
Don't say a word. Just stand there and let me drink in your beauty.
Drink. What an appropriate word for you to use.
Say what?
What's on tap for tonight? A game of chin?
Oh, I don't know. But we will be running into a little rough weather.
Oh, well, in that case, we better batten down the hatch or we could end up on the rocks.
Mara, I don't think you should take this so lightly. I mean, a hurricane can be a very fearsome thing.
It's just a big wind. I've had a lot of experience with big winds. The biggest of them all, Hurricane Isaac.
What?
Mr. Washington, the real estate operator, the polo player, the jet pilot, the bartender.
Bartender?
You're a big phony just like all the rest of them.
Mara, now look, I was just play acting, little innocent make-believe.
Make-believe?
Yeah.
Really? Well, then, make-believe this isn't a book.
Mara, wait a minute.
Make-believe this isn't real estate.
Wait, hold on.
Make-believe that this isn't a crime.
But she's mad. She's angry because he misled her.
Yeah,
and she was
but-
really falling for him. But what?
It's okay to throw a lamp? You might.
Maybe if you'd stop lying to me all the time.
Istvan, Michelle doesn't really own the Concorde. I hate to break it. I hate to break it to you. Yep, I know she said
And
it.
I'm not
I
a
backed her up
NASCAR
on
driver.
it. I was a real wingman on that one.
Well, that's where they leave off, that things have fallen apart between those two. I thought they did that kind of good. It was kind of quick between them for like a little teeny tiny storyline. So it's a lot going on. We'll see what's going to happen.
How it all pans out in part 2.
Because wait, they're hunkered down at this point?
Yeah, the storm, I think the storm's brewing.
Well, the captain did the whole, get your axes, get your shovels,
Oh,
get
right.
everything.
You're right, Michelle. So I wrote down Stubing takes charge, where just by the power of his voice, David P. Carruthers goes, okay, I guess you're in charge now. Like, I give up my whole plan of having a birthday party and holding you guys at gunpoint by the sheer gravitas of your conviction, Captain
That's why he's
Stubing.
the captain.
Yeah, I'm just going to listen to you and just give you my tools, which is what he does.
I'm surprised he didn't have like an Oliver. You know what I mean? Like how Vincent Price had Oliver. Like that was his favorite tiki statue on
right.
the Brady Bunch. That like
like something to talk to.
Yeah, like after 20, like the goat had a name or something like that. You know,
he had it right. You know who he's talking to? Nobody.
Yeah. You guys, before we wrap this part 1 of part 2 up, we just want to say thanks to Stephen P. Slivka for being here.
Thank you.
And maybe give him a little shout out for the wonderful Christmas gift that he brought along.
Yeah, last year he dazzled us with the Love Boat board game.
Yeah, amazing.
For your birthday.
Yes.
Yep. And then this year he showed up with a Love Boat press kit.
Yep.
Which will be on Instagram.
Complete with bios of the main cast.
Including vitals and weight.
Eye color. Which is important when you're writing an article or a review.
But not
and
only
slides.
That, yeah. Like, is that what they are? Slides?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We'll definitely have to post pictures. Amazing find, amazing gift.
Yeah. So again, thank you for being here today. We hope and pray you will be back for part 2. And again, thank you for doing the theme. The theme is awesome.
It's really great.
It's such a nice way to start off season 2. And I want to thank also the wonderful Tyra, who at Christmas gave us our own TV sitcom Christmas miracle by helping us reach our GoFundMe goal. She had paid attention and swooped in and took it to our goal. And it felt so nice to reach the goal before the end of the year, which was our hope.
Yeah.
So thank you to, especially to Tyra, but everybody who contributed to the GoFundMe and to everyone who's been listening. So thank you guys so much. Thanks for being here for the first episode of season 2, and we will see you all back for
part 2. Yeah. Can't wait to see how this all plays out.
The lives of 8.
And until then, I am Istvan.
I'm Michelle.
And I'm Slivka.
Captain Stubing, please come to the bridge.
And we're
loving the Love Boat.